can go on and be passed on to the future generations without making an impact to the environment. A lot of us hear nowadays that the air quality is going bad. If you go out on the streets of Dhaka, you'll find a lot of traffic. Is this traffic sustainable? Let's forget about green. Let's forget about everything else. Is this traffic, if we keep growing at this pace, would we be able to sustain the city for our future generations? So that is the question that we need to answer as a part of this presentation. What is green, and then how can we implement the green technologies, the sustainability in a data center application? LEED is a guideline that talks about green buildings. LEED is a program run by the United States Green Building Council. Every country has its own green building guidelines, and the countries which do not have existing green building guideline adopt it from some other country. So Bangladesh right now is using the American guidelines set up by the United States Green Building Council. The United States Green Building Council have a program called LEED. LEED stands for Leadership in Energy and Environmental Design, and this is the principal guiding force behind making of a green building, be it a data center or any other commercial building. So we as a company deal in several consulting services, including green building certifications and audits and so on. These are a few clients we have worked with. So green. So green we have spoken about. It's not the color green. It's not what you see green is green. It is the sustainability that green stands for. What is the most important aspect about going green? Is it the will to spend money? Is it the will to go for a certification? Is it a will to put a certificate outside your building saying that my building is green? No. The most important aspect about going green is the intention to go green. Most green building certification and rating programs are voluntary, which means that the government does not enforce that you have to mandatorily go for a green building certification. It is an owner's will, the will of the user to go green. So the most important aspect in going green is your intention and your willingness to go green. So the next question, we'll try to answer a few questions so that we'll clearly understand what is green. When should I begin my initiative to go green? So let us say you're all building a data center. There's a new data center coming up. It is a design stage going on right now, and the planning stage is going on. And when should I think about going sustainable? When should I think about implementing a green building technology into my data center? Is it after building my data center? Is it at the design stage? Is it when the construction begins? No. Green buildings is about planning everything at the design stage from the very beginning, so that when you are implementing something, you can implement the green technologies from the beginning itself, so that it is done at a low capex, a low capital cost, and it can help you in the OPEX in a much long-term way. Is it a lot of investment? This is a very important question. We were in the panel discussion, we were talking about convincing the management to do an investment. But in the green building part, if you look at it very wisely, you'll find out that you are anyways doing a lot of things out of the green building technologies. The air conditioning is already there. The lighting system is already there. What needs to be done is to do and plan things that you're already doing in a better way. And how it can be planned if you do it from the beginning. So what are some of these aspects about green? You are cooling having lighting in your data center. If you walk into a data center, you will find out that lights are always switched on. There's no end to lighting. At night, 12 o'clock, midnight also, when you walk into a data center, the lights will be switched on. When you speak to the facility manager will tell you that, 3 or 4 times in a day, maybe an IT person walks in to do the maintenance or something, but then otherwise it's all empty. Do the racks need light? They don't need to see. Racks don't have eyes. So racks do not need lights. So the basic thing that you can do is put in occupancy sensors, so whenever someone walks in, the lights automatically go off. Now, as a percentage of energy consumption that your data center racks consume and what your lights consume is very minimal. But then your data center operates 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. So the consumption keeps adding and adding and adding, and you'll find out that that small consumption, that tiny drop, has made an entire sea. So small steps need to be taken, and it is not a lot of investment compared to what you're already investing in the data center. The second thing you can think about is cooling. Cooling is a mandatory, more important than any other aspect of the data center is cooling. The data center cannot function in a normal moderate climate place, not in a very cold place, but most data centers are in moderate climate places. So cooling is already there. Now how can you manage this cooling? So data center racks are placed opposite to each other. So one rack will be a hot aisle and the other rack will be a cold aisle. Do we need the cold air, the cooling air in the hot aisle or the cold aisle? We need it in the cold aisle. So the grills, the diffusers that are on the floor that are giving you air should be able to sufficiently cool the cold aisle. And there should be no air exchange between the aisles. That will prevent the air from being exchanged and losing of cold air to the hot aisle. So you are already doing the cooling. All you need to do is prevent the flow of air between the hot aisle and the cold aisle and separate it and blanket it. Precision air conditioning is anyways involved in a data center, which is much more costly than your step to manage the airflow. Why certification? So I said USGBC, United States Green Building Council, provides a layout or a certification for a green building, be it a green data center or anything else. So why do you need a certification? It is the same reason why you need to write exams in high school. Why do we need to write exams in high school? It is because we have studied something and we want to prove that we have studied this, and we can just give a certificate to whoever asks that we have qualified this exam. So if you make a green building, if you make a green data center, how would you tell a layman or how would you tell your customer that your data center is a green data center? Now you have done all that investment, you have done all the planning. Now you need to present in front of your customer also that your data center is a green data center. In order to prove that, and in order to get a sequential step on how to, what things should be done after what, you need a layout, a guideline. That guideline is provided by the lead rating system, which is a rating system by USGBC. What are the levels of certification? So if I ask you which is a better data center, two data centers are green, this data center is also green, this data center is also green. How would you find out the difference between the two? So for that, there are levels of certification. I might be willing to invest a certain less amount in my data center sustainability. Another client might be willing to invest a little more. By investment, I don't mean only money. It also means your time, your planning, your vision for that data center. So for that, there are different rating levels. The rating levels in USGBC are certified, silver, gold and platinum. So even when a layman looks at a data center green certification, he knows which one is better, which one is not that great. Who certifies? So different countries have different rating systems. There are multiple rating systems in several countries. The rating systems are defined according to the needs of the climate and the basic local conditions. In Bangladesh, we follow USGBC. For example, in Dubai and Abu Dhabi, they follow ST-DAMA. Like USGBC rates in gold, silver, platinum. ST-DAMA rates in pearls. So it is 1 pearl, 2 pearl, 3 pearl, 4 pearl, and so on. China has a 3-star rating system. India has a Griha rating system, which is again 1 star, 2 star, 3 star, and so on. So each country has their own rating system. Bangladesh will eventually come up with their own rating system is what I believe, but then for now we follow USGBC in Bangladesh. A few facts. I was saying that more than 70% of the data centers are greater than 7 years old in the panel discussion. So this actually makes it essential to maintain the data center. Now, a green data center can have once, though it is a best practice to design a green data center at the beginning, at the design stage, but then even there are some data centers which have already been built. So for them, their operations and maintenance ratings and operations and maintenance certifications for data centers which are not able to maintain a rating at the design stage. So that is called the O&M rating. So more than 70% of the data centers are greater than 7 years old. So these data centers, the focus should be to maintain them properly. If you have a grill, let us say you have a AC grill. If you leave it like that and keep using it, there will be a maintenance factor depletion in the performance. So the air that comes out of this grill would reduce with time because your filters will get dirty, your fan motor will get old. If your light, even if your light, the light at your house, you install it, you will get a certain level of light. After 2 years, the light will go down. Why is that? Because the maintenance factor comes into picture. With time, with age, the light level of the same light fixture goes down. So the maintenance part is very important, and it is one of the stress factors in a green building. Data centers consume 1.5 to 2% of all global electricity. So data itself is a relatively new concept. I mean, new when you compare it to the other technologies like cars, even airplanes, they are fairly old. Data IT is like 40, 50, 60 years old at best. And already they consume 2% of the global electricity. Now, if we keep growing at the pace, IT is growing at a faster pace than anything else or any other industry in the world. And if we keep growing at this pace, this 2% will become 3% in the next 3 to 4 years, and it will become 4% in the next 3 to 4 years. So within 5 years, we'd be 5% of the electricity of global electricity would be consumed just by data centers. More than half of the companies rely on coal. So whatever grill electricity we are using, it is coming from coal conventional power plants. Now the focus is shifting to solar and wind technologies, but still it is not as penetrated as it should be in the age of today. But then considerable advances are being made. One data center, how much do you think one data center consumes in terms of electricity? US homes are one of the most high energy consuming homes in the world because the temperatures are low, the heating is, there is centralized heating, the lighting needs and everything else is much higher than a developing economy. One data center consumes as much energy as 50,000 US homes. So there, you know that, you do energy efficiency in 50,000 US homes and you do energy efficiency in one data center, the output would be the same. So there is a need to go sustainable, to go green in a data center. Aspects of green, we talked about the rating systems, we talked about why it is required. Now we'll step by step just quickly see what are the different aspects in a data center. Integrative design process is when your IT person, your lighting designer, your air conditioning designer, your civil contractor, your IT contractor, your cyber security expert all sit together at a single table and decide how things are to be done. That will ensure that there are no confusions later on, and whatever is decided is not objected to by the other party. Location and transportation, we were discussing in the panel discussion that a lot of places are remote and are not accessible, and therefore the possibility of having a data center goes a little grim in those places. So location and transportation plays a very important role in your data center or any other building's green or sustainability aspect, because if a location is far off and not accessible, you would be driving a lot of kilometers to get there, to workplace. There'll be thousands of people working in an IT company and they'll drive so many kilometers cumulatively in a day to get to work. And all that getting to work is not just waste of time, but also waste of fuel, and fuel is energy. So location and transportation is very important. Sustainable sites, how do you build your data center? Okay, when the building is built, it is fine. Where are you procuring your material from? Are you getting the marble from Italy? If you're getting the marble from Italy, Italian marble is very famous for its aesthetics. But then when you get the marble from Italy, there's a definite cost of fuel that is being incurred in getting that marble from Italy. So we have to see the cost benefit ratio. Do we only want the looks, or do we want to see whether that is worthwhile or not in terms of energy? And these, though they might look that, you know, this is a small building, what if I get it from outside, it won't have much impact. But then this small makes it very large cumulatively. Water efficiency, data center would definitely be associated with an IT maintenance office or another office. So water also plays an important role. The fixtures need to be low flow with aerators so that the water that you get is optimized and used to the maximum level. The water that is already used should be recycled in a sewage treatment plant, and the output that you get should be reused. Bangladesh is now bringing a law which will mandate having a sewage treatment plant in all large commercial buildings. Energy and atmosphere. Energy, we already discussed, plays a very important role in a green building, but it is not just energy, it is all these things except energy also that play a very important role in sustainability and a green building. Material and resources, apart from sourcing the materials locally, we should also see if there are any recycled materials. Now, many of you would know that once glass, in a glass factory, when glass is being made, a lot of glass breaks in the process. That glass out of the process is again put into the kiln and reused into the making of new glass. So 25% of any glass, whether it is new glass or old glass, 25% of any glass fresh out of the factory has 25% recycled content. That means the glass is reused within the factory if it is broken or something happens to it. So similarly, steel has a certain recycled content. You can use a lot of things from an old facility if that facility is going to scrap. So these are the things that are being addressed in materials and resources. Indoor air quality. Air quality has become a very important issue nowadays across the world. I saw a data center where, so a lot of people think data center is full of machines, why do you need a good air quality in it? Data center machines do not need oxygen. So why do we need a good air quality? Maybe we can have a normal air quality in a data center. We can pour in air directly from outside, but no. Data center air quality needs to be good because in my experience, I saw a data center where the outside air was full of SOx. There was a leather industry next to the IT building, and the air that was coming inside, even though it was filtered, but once you open the gate, the outside air is also coming inside. So the air had a lot of SOx, and because of that, a lot of PCBs were failing because there was corrosion happening on the PCBs. Now they're so expensive devices that you can't afford the PCBs to get a failure just because of a poor air quality. So all these things are mendable, all these things are doable, but the only thing, they need to be planned in an appropriate manner. So this pie chart and a regional priority, of course, regional priority is a summation of all these points, and you get additional credits for being able to follow all of this. Okay, so the next thing that is coming up is nothing but a graph. It is more of a pie chart which shows what percentage is contributed by which of these aspects. So the graph shows that 31% is contributed by energy alone in the sustainability of a green building or a green data center. Air quality comes next, then it is followed by water, sustainability in sites, location, and integrative process. So these are the key aspects in a data center, in a green data center. This is what I had to say about a green data center. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer. Okay, the presentation had my email ID at the end, so I'll try displaying it at the end of the presentation. If you have any questions that arise in your mind later on, please feel free to write to me. Thank you so much for being a patient audience, and thank you for inviting me to address this session. Thank you.